Something happened here that no one can explain. A person vanished, a body was found, a crime was committed that was never solved. In this video, we revisit famous mystery locations and see what they look like today. The Cecil Hotel, 640 South Main Street, Los Angeles, California. Opened in 1927 and declining into a Skid Row flophouse where Richard Ramirez lived during his 1985 killing spree, and at least 16 people have died by suicide or under mysterious circumstances. In 2013, Elisa Lam was found decomposing in a rooftop water tank after guests complained about the taste of the water. Rebranded and reopened in 2021, the water tank's still on the roof, rooms available online, the reviews mixed. The Pont de l'Alma Tunnel, Paris, France. On August 31st, 1997, the Mercedes carrying Princess Diana, Dodi Fayed, and driver Henri Paul struck the 13th pillar at speed. Paul's blood alcohol over 3 times the legal limit. The Fayed family spending years and millions pursuing the theory that MI6 ordered the assassination. The tunnel still driven through daily, the flame of liberty above it adopted as an unofficial memorial. The Black Dahlia murder site, 39th and Norton, Leimert Park, Los Angeles, California. On January 15, 1947, the body of 22-year-old Elizabeth Short was found in a vacant lot. Severed at the waist, drained of blood, and posed, over 60 people confessed, and none were convicted in what became the most famous unsolved murder in American history. Houses now stand on the exact ground. The case remains officially open with the LAPD, Dealey Plaza, Dallas, Texas. On November 22, 1963, President Kennedy was shot while riding in a motorcade. The Warren Commission, concluding Oswald acted alone from the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository, though a majority of Americans have never believed this. The 6th floor museum now occupies the depository. The X painted on Elm Street marking where the fatal shot struck is repainted by citizens every time the city removes it. The water's off. Santa Catalina Island, California. On November 29, 1981, Natalie Wood drowned while aboard the yacht Splendor with Robert Wagner, Christopher Walken, and Captain Dennis Davern. The case reopened in 2011 after Dovern changed his account. Wagner named a person of interest in 2018 and never charged. The cove near Blue Cavern Point, where her body was found, is still a popular anchorage for recreational boaters. The Zodiac Killer crime scenes, San Francisco Bay Area, California. Between December 1968 and October 1969, the Zodiac murdered at least 5 people across multiple locations, sending taunting letters and coded ciphers to newspapers. One cipher not solved until 2020, the killer never identified. Lake Berryessa, where he attacked 2 students wearing a hooded executioner costume, is now a recreation area where families picnic. The Presidio Heights intersection, where he shot a taxi driver, one of the most expensive blocks in San Francisco. D.B. Cooper's Jump Zone, Southwest Washington State. On November 24, 1971, a man hijacked Northwest Orient Flight 305, extorted $200,000 and parachuted from the rear stairway into the night. Never found. The FBI closing the case in 2016 after 45 years. $5,800 in matching bills found by a boy on the Columbia River in 1980. The only unsolved hijacking in American aviation history, the forest keeping whatever it was given that night. The Dyatlov Pass, Northern Ural Mountains, Russia. On February 2nd, 1959, 9 Soviet hikers died after slashing their tent open from the inside and fleeing into sub-zero temperatures without shoes. Some found with severe internal injuries but no external wounds. One missing her tongue. A 2020 investigation concluded avalanche, though many dispute this. The pass named after group leader Igor Dyatlov remains largely inaccessible. The Bermuda Triangle, Atlantic Ocean. The stretch between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, where Flight 19's 5 Navy bombers vanished in 1945. The rescue planes sent after them also disappearing. Dozens of ships and aircraft reported missing over decades. The U.S. Coast Guard does not recognize the triangle as an area of unusual risk. The ocean inside it identical to the ocean outside it. The Villisca Axe Murder House, 508 East 2nd Street, Villisca, Iowa. On June 9, 1912, 8 people were bludgeoned to death with an axe, including 6 members of the Moore family and 2 overnight guests. Multiple suspects investigated, no one convicted. The house preserved as a museum offering daytime tours and overnight stays. Visitors sleeping in the rooms where a family was murdered. Alcatraz Island, San Francisco Bay, California. On June 11, 1962, Frank Morris and brothers John and Clarence Anglin escaped through ventilation shafts widened with stolen spoons, paddled into the bay on a raft made of raincoats sealed with contact cement, and were never seen again, the FBI concluding they likely drowned, though a 2013 letter allegedly from John Anglin claimed they survived. Over 1.5 million visitors annually tour the cells and see the dummy heads left in the beds. The Hinterkaifeck Farm, Bavaria, Germany. On March 31, 1922, 6 people were found murdered with a mattock at their remote farmstead. The most disturbing detail being that someone had continued living on the farm for days after the murders, feeding livestock, eating food, and sleeping alongside the bodies. The farm demolished in 1923, a small shrine on the site. Over 100 suspects investigated and no one charged. The Somerton Man, Beach, Adelaide, Australia. On December 1, 1948, a well-dressed man was found dead on Somerton Beach with no identification. Every label removed from his clothing, a scrap of paper reading Tamam Shud torn from a copy of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam in his pocket. Identified in 2022 via DNA as Carl Webb, an electrical engineer from Melbourne. Answering who, but not how, why, or what, the coded message found in a nearby car meant. Jack the Ripper's Whitechapel, London, England. Between August and November 1888, at least 5 women were murdered in the Whitechapel district, their throats cut and bodies mutilated. Over 100 suspects proposed, including royalty, a surgeon, and a painter. The killer never identified. The most impoverished neighborhood in Victorian London is now one of the most rapidly gentrifying areas of the East End. Walking tours operating nightly charging tourists to hear about how dangerous it used to be. The Lizzie Borden House, 232nd Street, Fall River, Massachusetts. On August 4, 1892, Andrew and Abby Borden were found hacked to death with a hatchet. Daughter Lizzie tried and acquitted in one of the most sensational murder trials of the 19th century, the case becoming the subject of the famous rhyme. The house operates as a bed and breakfast where guests sleep in the rooms where the murders occurred. The Amityville Horror House, Amityville, New York. On November 13, 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr. shot and killed 6 members of his family at 112 Ocean Avenue. The Lutz family moving in 13 months later and claiming to experience paranormal activity that became the basis for the book and film franchise. The address changed from 112 to 108 Ocean Avenue to deter tourists. The house sold multiple times, subsequent owners reporting no unusual activity. The John Benet Ramsey House, 755 15th Street, Boulder, Colorado. On December 26, 1996, 6-year-old John Benet Ramsey was found murdered in the basement of her family's home, the case generating more media coverage than any child murder in American history. No one ever charged. The house sold and the address renumbered. The most scrutinized crime scene in Colorado history, a private residence whose owners have no connection to the case. The O.J. Simpson Rockingham Estate, Brentwood, Los Angeles, California. The 6,200 square foot Tudor at 360 North Rockingham, where the famous Bronco chase ended and where the bloody glove was found, purchased by Simpson in 1977. Demolished by the new owner in 1998 after the civil trial judgment, a Mediterranean-style home built at a new address to erase the association. The Rendlesham Forest Incident, Suffolk, England. On December 26, 1980, U.S. Air Force personnel stationed at RAF Woodbridge reported seeing unexplained lights descending into Rendlesham Forest. multiple witnesses describing a triangular craft, radiation readings reportedly elevated at the landing site. The forest is now open to the public with a marked UFO trail, Britain's most famous unexplained incident turned into a walking path. The Flannan Isles Lighthouse, Outer Hebrides, Scotland. On December 26, 1900, 3 lighthouse keepers vanished from the remote lighthouse on Ialian Moor. The clock stopped, the lamp extinguished, an overturned chair suggesting a hasty departure, no bodies ever found. The lighthouse was automated in 1971, the island uninhabited since, theories ranging from rogue waves to madness to abduction. The Dybbuk box, various locations. A wine cabinet purchased at an estate sale in Portland, Oregon in 2001 that subsequent owners claimed was haunted by a malicious spirit, each reporting nightmares, health problems, and unexplained events. The box inspiring the 2012 horror film The Possession, currently owned by Zach Bagans and displayed at his haunted museum in Las Vegas. The Winchester Mystery House, 525 South Winchester Boulevard, San Jose, California. Sarah Winchester, widow of rifle manufacturer William Wirt Winchester, built continuously for 38 years from 1884 to her death in 1922. The mansion growing to 160 rooms, with staircases leading to ceilings, doors opening to walls and windows overlooking other rooms, reportedly guided by spirits of those killed by Winchester rifles. Now, a museum and tourist attraction, Skinwalker Ranch, Winter County, Utah, a 512-acre ranch in northeastern Utah, where ranchers and researchers have reported UFO sightings, cattle mutilations, poltergeist activity, and interdimensional phenomena since the 1950s. Investigated by Robert Bigelow's National Institute for Discovery Science, and now the subject of a History Channel series. The ranch remains privately owned and heavily monitored. The Sally House, 508 North 2nd Street, Atchison, Kansas. A Victorian house where a young couple in the early 1990s reported escalating paranormal activity, including objects moving, fires starting spontaneously, and physical scratches appearing on the husband's body, the house becoming one of the most investigated haunted locations in America. Available for overnight paranormal investigation bookings. The Overtown Bridge, Milton, West Dunbartonshire, Scotland. A 19th century bridge near Dumbarton, from which an estimated 50 to 600 dogs have reportedly jumped to their deaths since the 1950s. Some surviving and returning to jump again, theories ranging from mink scent to ultrasonic sounds to optical illusion. The bridge remains open to pedestrians and their dogs. Warning signs now posted. Area 51, Lincoln County, Nevada. The classified U.S. Air Force facility in the Nevada desert that has been the subject of UFO conspiracy theories since the 1980s. The CIA not formally acknowledging the name Area 51 and its specific boundaries until 2013, though the government had acknowledged the Groom Lake operating location for decades prior. The perimeter patrolled by security, the nearest public road offering views of nothing but desert and warning signs. The Mothman Bridge, Point Pleasant, West Virginia. On December 15, 1967, the Silver Bridge collapsed into the Ohio River, killing 46 people. The disaster preceded by 13 months of Mothman sightings, described as a large winged creature with glowing red eyes. The connection between the sightings and the collapse never established. A Mothman statue and museum now operate in Point Pleasant. The bridge replaced, the creature becoming the town's primary tourist attraction, the Tower of London, London, England. The medieval fortress where the princes in the tower, 12-year-old Edward V and his 10-year-old brother Richard, disappeared in 1483, widely believed murdered on the orders of their uncle Richard III, whose own body was later found under a Leicester parking lot. Bones discovered beneath a staircase in 1674 and placed in Westminster Abbey have never been DNA tested because the royal family and the Church of England have consistently refused to allow it. The Hanging Rock, Macedon Ranges, Victoria, Australia. The volcanic formation that inspired Joan Lindsay's 1967 novel, Picnic at Hanging Rock, about 3 schoolgirls, and a teacher who vanished during a Valentine's Day excursion, a fiction so convincing that tourists still ask park rangers what happened to the missing girls. The Rock remains a popular hiking destination, the mystery entirely invented. The Coral Castle, 28,655 South Dixie Highway, Homestead, Florida. A limestone structure built single-handedly between 1923 and 1951 by Latvian immigrant Edward Leeds Kalnin, using coral rock blocks weighing up to 30 tons. Leeds Kalnin claiming to have discovered the secrets of the Egyptian pyramids and working only at night so no one could observe his methods. Now, a museum, how one man moved 1,100 tons of coral rock alone remains unexplained. The Georgia Guidestones Site, Elberton, Georgia. A granite monument erected in 1980 by an anonymous benefactor using the pseudonym R.C. Christian, containing 10 guidelines for humanity, inscribed in 8 languages including maintaining the world population under 500 million, the identity of the commissioner never revealed. The monument was partially destroyed by an explosive device on July 6, 2022, and the remainder demolished by authorities the same day. The mystery of who built it joined by the mystery of who destroyed it. The Nazca Lines, Nazca Desert, Peru. Over 70 enormous geoglyphs depicting animals, plants, and geometric shapes etched into the desert floor between 500 BC and 500 AD by the Nazca people, some stretching over 1,200 feet, visible only from the air in an era before flight. The lines remain on the desert plateau, UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1994. The question of why an ancient civilization created art that could only be seen from above never fully answered. The Voynich manuscript, Beinecke Rare Book Library, Yale University, New Haven, Connecticut. A 240-page illustrated codex written in an unknown script and language dated to the early 15th century, purchased by Polish book dealer Wilfrid Voynich in 1912, containing illustrations of unidentifiable plants, astronomical diagrams, and bathing women. No cryptographer, linguist, or computer has decoded it. The most mysterious manuscript in the world sitting in a Yale Library reading room. The Oak Island Money Pit, Oak Island, Nova Scotia, Canada. A shaft discovered in 1795 that has been the subject of over 200 years of excavation at a cost exceeding $50 million. Booby-trapped with flood tunnels. Theories ranging from Captain Kidd's treasure to the Holy Grail, to Shakespeare's manuscripts, to Marie Antoinette's jewels. 6 people have died during excavations. The History Channel series, The Curse of Oak Island, documenting ongoing digs that have yet to find anything conclusive. The Marfa Lights, Marfa, Texas. Unexplained glowing orbs reported in the desert east of Marfa since at least the 1880s, described as splitting, merging, hovering, and darting across the landscape. Explanations ranging from atmospheric refraction to car headlights to ball lightning to supernatural phenomena. A viewing platform operated by the Texas Department of Transportation sits on Highway 90, the lights appearing irregularly and defying consistent explanation. The Bermuda Triangle's Flight 19, Fort Lauderdale Naval Air Station, Florida. On December 5, 1945, 5 Navy Avenger torpedo bombers launched from Fort Lauderdale on a routine training mission and vanished with 14 crew, their compasses reportedly malfunctioning, the flight leader's last transmissions indicating total disorientation. A rescue plane sent after them also disappearing with 13 crew. No wreckage from any of the 6 aircraft has ever been found. The staircase at the Loretto Chapel, Santa Fe, New Mexico. A spiral staircase built in the 1870s inside the former chapel of the Sisters of Loretto, reportedly constructed by an unknown carpenter who arrived, built the staircase without nails or a central support column using wood not native to New Mexico, and left without being paid. The chapel now operates as a wedding venue and museum, the carpenter's identity never confirmed. Engineers unable to fully explain how the staircase supports itself. The Tunguska event site, Siberia, Russia. On June 30th, 1908, an explosion estimated at 10 to 15 megatons flattened 830 square miles of Siberian forest near the Tunguska River. No impact crater found. Theories ranging from an airburst meteoroid to a comet fragment to antimatter to a miniature black hole. The forest has largely regrown, the most powerful explosion in recorded human history, leaving no crater and no confirmed fragments. The Amber Room, location unknown. An ornate chamber of gold-backed amber panels, originally installed in the Catherine Palace near St. Petersburg in 1701, looted by Nazi Germany in 1941, and installed in Königsberg Castle, disappearing during the Allied bombing of 1945. A reconstruction completed in 2003 at the Catherine Palace at a cost of $11 million. The original panels, worth an estimated $500 million, never found despite hundreds of expeditions. The Hessdalen Lights, Hessdalen Valley, Norway. Unexplained lights observed in the Hessdalen Valley since at least the 1930s, appearing as white, yellow, or red orbs that hover, move at extraordinary speed, or remain stationary, studied by Norwegian and international scientists since 1983 with automated monitoring stations installed. No definitive explanation, despite decades of data, the most scientifically documented unexplained atmospheric phenomenon on Earth.